Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MP. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
It is Fastlane coming up this weekend, or Monday if you live in New Zealand. It is time to see what we got, start making our predictions, and because SmackDown hasn't happened yet, make some more predictions about what we might see on the card. But let's open up with the women's tag team division. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, with a newfound Reginald by their side, or a newly liberated Reginald by their side, defending against the unlikely duo of Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair.
Yeah, I feel like this is like just laying the groundwork for Carmella versus Bianca after Bianca wins the title at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't really know why else you would be including Reginald in this whole situation.
It's a weird one, because Reginald seems to be getting involved with Nia Jax. And Nia Jax does have a SmackDown Women's title opportunity on SmackDown, which happens after we air the show, so unfortunately we don't get to know the result of that, but I imagine Sasha Banks retains in that match. I don't see any world where Nia Jax randomly picks up the SmackDown Women's title.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. It's definitely for the better to be Sasha versus Bianca at WrestleMania. I think putting the title on Nia would just completely diminish Bianca in a somewhat, because Nia's, as great as she is, she's not a Sasha Banks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the match there. The money match is Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, and as much as I keep complaining about having one of the women's titles involved in the tag team division, I'm going to complain about that again. And I'm really hoping that, whatever we are, 3 or 4 weeks removed from WrestleMania, that we're not going to switch the tag titles over to Banks and Belair just before heading into WrestleMania season.
Yeah, we're not going to do. I don't think we're going to do that either. I think Reginald's purpose in this in particular match is to get Sasha and Bianca disqualified.
Okay.
That protects Sasha and Bianca and keeps the titles on Nia and Shayna.
Yeah. I can definitely see it happening. I think it's also possible that, we've seen on SmackDown in the weeks leading up to this that Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, who had previously been able to work together in a similar tag team match, the last pay-per-view, have started to poke holes at each other and started to fracture and started to seem like their feud and their match maybe heating up a little bit.
Yeah, I suppose that's really possible as well. That it may end up being one of them turning on the other, and that allows an incapacitated member of the team to be beaten by Jax and Baszler.
Yeah, I could always see the classic just walk out, especially from Sasha Banks in this case, because that's the way the segments seem to be leaning. So yeah, something's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think we have been calling for that for a while, because I think we've been predicting that Sasha would end up being the heel in this situation.
Yeah.
I don't think you can turn Bianca heel after the momentum she's got with the Rumble win and everything that's come up to it.
Yeah, it would definitely come out of left field if you did it, as you say, after the Rumble win, after the documentaries, after pretty much all of the story that's being told, which is the girlhood dream. The super athlete coming in here and proving that she can go regardless of the sport. It's a little rough if you flipped her heel I don't think the story would be told to its fullest potential in that case. But talking about stories and their fullest potential, let's take a look at, and I'm reading this correctly, Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton.
Yeah, this ought to be interesting. Orton's pretty much the only person that could do this, just because he has a history of attacking women. So,
Whoa. In wrestling?
yes.
In the WWE. Just to clarify. I don't want no defamation case on my hands.
Well, there are some other stuff that he's been known to do backstage, but we won't get into that.
No.
But yeah, he has a history of attacking women in storylines. So, yeah, if there was going to be an intergender match, this makes sense. I think Orton wins, but Orton is not going to be walking out on his own power.
Yeah, I cannot for the life of me sit here in this chair right now behind this microphone and tell you what I think the finish of this match is going to be, right? But we all know that it's setting up one last Orton Fiend clash at Mania. And there's so many different options and different ways that this match can go, this match can finish, etc., etc. And I just don't know which one they're going to go with, because The Fiend is such a crazy character with so many cool ideas behind it that you just don't know. I don't know where they're going.
Yeah. I see one or two things. It's either Orton straight up beats Alexa with an RKO and everything, and a 1-2-3 count, and then the lights go out and Alexa's replaced by The Fiend. Or Orton's about to win the match, set up for an RKO, lights go out, and Alexa's replaced by The Fiend, and The Fiend attacks Orton.
So what you're sure of is the lights will go out.
Yep, I'm sure that The Fiend returns on Sunday.
Yeah.
Either during this match or after the match is over.
I think those are some fair predictions with this match. I'm not going to make any, but the ones you've made I think are completely fair and reasonable, and things that will probably end up happening on Sunday. Let's squish in one more announced match here. The Intercontinental Championship is on the line. Big E will be defending against the real Apollo Crews.
I love Big E. I really, really do. And I've enjoyed his solo run so far.
You're shocking me here.
But I kind of want to see what they will do with Apollo Crews in this new role.
You're absolutely shocking me here.
That said, it probably won't win, but as I said, I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, it's fair. It's a tough one. Just because, and it's always a little weird, because we've got WrestleMania, 4 weeks down the line. So what are we going to do here on Fastlane, and what are we going to do at WrestleMania? I think Big E makes it to WrestleMania as champion. Does Big E walk out of WrestleMania as champion? That's a little bit harder for me to tell you. I think this is one of those matches that we're going to see rematched at WrestleMania. Maybe the addition of some other competitors. Don't quite know where we're going to go with that one. But yeah, I think this all ends with Apollo Crews with gold. I just don't know if Fastlane is the time to do it. That's the big question. When do you pull the trigger? Alrighty, it is time to go into our entrance theme of the week. It is the Fastlane entrance theme, because that makes sense, because the pay-per-view is coming up this weekend. So that song is playing for you now.
Every time that I'm down, I rise up. Every time. Every
And you're back to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh. We got a couple more Fastlane matches to talk about, and we might end up jumping over to the Gold and Black brand as well. Drew McIntyre, Sheamus. It's a singles match on Fastlane. You'd think it's a number one contenders match, but Drew McIntyre already booked his WrestleMania ticket against Bobby Lashley. Where do we see this singles match going?
They didn't even put a stipulation on it.
Nope.
I don't care anymore.
It's a real rough one, I think. You had so many things you could have done with this match. Whether that be a stipulation, you've already had them knock each other out and go for a no contest. You've already had them just have these brutal matchups on Raw. And now you're like, just throw them in a singles match on Fastlane.
Yeah. For me, it would have been a last man standing match. And a number one contender match for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Then you have them absolutely just demolish each other. Drew barely makes it back to his feet. And so Drew vanquishes Sheamus, and he looks forward to the almighty WWE champion, Bobby Lashley.
It's such a weird one. Like, I feel like this was just handled so badly. We shouldn't know that Drew's going against Bobby regardless. That shouldn't be the case. This match should have some sort of extra stipulation on it. I'm surprised Sheamus didn't fight for one where, like, if he beats Drew McIntyre, it makes it a triple threat even. Like, you can still fix this. There's still options. Or if Sheamus beats Drew, then he takes his spot. If you don't want to make it a number one contender and you want to have that announced match. Just so there's a little maybe something could happen here.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Drew will win the match because he has to. Because of them announcing that other match.
Well, Drew's not champion anymore, so I'm going to go against my boy, because this, to be fair, is my two boys facing up, and I'm going to go with Sheamus winning. I'm going to pick the Irishman comes out on top, despite the other match already being announced, and some sort of something happens. Drew McIntyre's already punched his ticket to WrestleMania. My boy Sheamus needs a big win here to punch his. Because at the moment I don't know what his ticket to WrestleMania is going to be. I don't think he has one. So I'm being completely selfish and picking a Sheamus win here. And lastly, we have the Universal Championship on the line. Roman Reigns defending against Daniel Bryan, and after SmackDown this week, either Edge or Jey Uso will be the special guest enforcer for that match.
It'll be Edge. That'll be the special guest enforcer.
That's a fair guess.
Roman retains, because we've said all along, the money match is Edge versus Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Spear versus Spear.
Without Goldberg.
Yep. So this will be this will be a fun match, because these two always do really well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think this match is going to be everything except for unpredictable. It's going to be amazing bell to bell, but as you say, we all know Roman Reigns is going to walk out the victor here. But I'm sure there'll be heaps of points in the match where Daniel Bryan looks like he's about to win, just to give us all that false hope.
Yeah. Who knows? It may even be a case where Edge gets fed up with something Roman's doing and goes to spear him and accidentally spears Daniel Bryan and is forced to count the 3.
Yeah. We just don't quite know, I guess, the finish. But yeah, with WrestleMania taking shape and this being sort of that last pit stop, we can make quite a few assumptions about some of these matches where we know what the WrestleMania implications are. just because WrestleMania is, as I scroll up and quickly click and click, April 10th, and then I click open a map and I go, okay, that's 1, 2, 3. 3 weeks away. WrestleMania is 3 weeks away. It's, everything has WrestleMania implications at this point. And we're talking about Fastlane, which at the moment, at time of filming, has 5 matches announced, right? WrestleMania already has 4. We already know Banks will be going up against Belair. We already know Reigns or Bryan will be going up against Edge. We know Lashley will be going up against Drew. And we know that the brand new Raw Tag Team Champions, The New Day, will be going up against AJ Styles and Omos. We won't talk too much about the match. We'll save that for 3 weeks from now. But The New Day are our tag champs again.
Near traditional transitional champion? Hire The New Day.
And that's how their numbers just skyrocket. If they're not already, they're going to be one of the most decorated tag teams of all time by the end of this.
I'm pretty sure it's number 11, which I think does make them the most decorated tag team in WWE history. Surpassing the Dudleys.
Well, that's a fun little factoid as the New Day just continue to raise their stock, even if they are only going to be transitional this time. But yeah, we will have to wait and see when we get to the WrestleMania prediction show to talk too much about that one. But as we've got a little bit of time here, we're going to jump on over to the Black and Gold brand because it is also heating up. They've got their TakeOver Stand and Deliver coming up, and Karrion Kross and Finn Balor firmly locked in now.
Yeah, and it makes the most sense.
It's all about that get back the title I didn't lose piece. And they had a chance at the NXT Tag Team Championships, but it wasn't meant to be. They couldn't work together, but it's not their goal to win the NXT Tag Team Championships anyway.
No, it's their goal to destroy each other in the process of trying to walk out of TakeOver with the NXT Championship, in which hopefully Karrion Kross can actually leave the ring with it this time.
Well, he left the ring with it, I think, right? He went backstage and that was it, though.
Yeah, but he was already hurt.
Yeah, it's true. I think Finn Balor, every NXT Championship defense this guy has had has been money, and has been a brutal slugfest as well, in most of the cases. So I see this one just continuing the trend with that. But one thing I do want to make mention of, it is time for a Cruiserweight Collision. We've been running, what is it, almost a year now with dual champions?
Yeah, unintentionally.
We've had Jordan Devlin hiding off in the United Kingdom. I think he's had maybe one defense on NXT UK. And we've had Santos Escobar with his crew sitting behind him atop the Cruiserweight division, actively competing.
Yeah, and we have pretty much it was made official for this for the match at TakeOver, because you had Devlin come out, trash talk Santos. Santos tells his stooges that he was going to deal with it himself, because they were going to go in the ring to attack Jordan. They trade barbs, and Santos challenges him to a match at TakeOver, and then Jordan Devlin headbutts him and suplexes him and leaves the ring.
Look, a headbutt is basically an Irish handshake. So I believe that means you're on. But yeah, it'll finally see the bringing together of these two Cruiserweight champions, so that WWE.com/superstars can finally have one person listed there. Who will it be? We'll have to wait and see when we get to our TakeOver preview show. But it'll be interesting to see how we get there with NXT heating up every single week. And as I talk about heating up, we can't not talk about the women's division in NXT either. The matches that we thought were going to start to take place and start to build changed it up. I didn't think this would be how it would happen, but Io Shirai wants her match with Gonzalez. She's demanding it.
Yeah, this is pretty much the last person in the division to challenge her. I know we threw out Candice LeRae like a couple weeks ago, but I realized Candice has already had a shot.
This is it.
Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
So yeah, this if Raquel cannot beat Io has to move to the main roster and relinquish the title. This should be fun. It's going to be all about elevating Raquel Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
This whole feud.
I have to assume that Raquel walks out of this with the title. But this NXT Women's Division is so hot at the moment in terms of there's so much stuff just going on. You've got this stuff with the title going on. You've just introduced NXT Women's Tag Team titles. You've still got Xia Li taking on the Ninjas. There's so many storylines actively happening around in this division, and just so much pure talent. Because just before this, did you think you were going to get away with me not mentioning that Dakota Kai won a match? Because she did, and you're not getting away from it. But yeah, Zoe Stark put on an impressive display, and again just showed how deep that NXT Women's Division is. And I believe there was also a promotional video, a vignette of sorts, playing as NXT's Women's Division is going to get even deeper as Saray is about to show up as well. So more and more talent just bolstered and kept down here in NXT.
Yeah, that's another reason I think it's pretty much time for Io to move on. She relinquished the title to Raquel, and then shows up on Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania.
Yeah. Those divisions can, not saying that either the Raw or SmackDown women's divisions are lacking talent, just that NXT is the strongest, full stop, no questions asked. And so, yeah, they could definitely do with some lateral movement in that case. But just before we run out of time, the last point to mention from NXT, it's Walter time.
Yeah, Walter's returned to stateside for WrestleMania week.
For about a month.
Yep. And his target is apparently Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah, it was interesting, obviously a little bit of a COVID breakout, changing up plans a little bit this week. But they just sort of implied that Marcel Barthel kidnapped Thatcher, or he was like, why he couldn't be there. And it just left Ciampa to be on his own and be utterly brutalized by Walter.
Yeah, this should be fun. This could possibly be the most brutal match of the entire week. And that's with Karrion Kross and Finn Balor on the card.
There will be a lot of matches on the card that week.
Yeah.
So saying something like that's a big statement.
And Lashley McIntyre too. But yeah, this is going to be a war. A war that I don't think Tommaso Ciampa is going to be able to win.
Walter very
at this
much
point,
is the
nobody
final boss.
has beaten Walter.
Yeah. He is the final boss of NXT UK. He stands tall. You just cannot get through the man. I don't think you're going to get through him with Tommaso Ciampa either, yeah. I think you're right. it all comes down to what's going to happen with Imperium and stuff, because we believe Walter's probably going to head back to NXT UK once it's all said and done. Imperium been floating around for a little while, don't quite know what their future holds, but we will discuss that more as we get closer and closer and closer to NXT Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania, and everything gets fast-tracked as soon as we get over this last speed bump called Fastlane, because we have run out of time this week. It's been great talking to you.
Baby.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Radio, Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling Radio, and we'll see you next week with the results from Fastlane. Hopefully, more than 5 matches.